Welcome back. Welcome back. I'm welcoming myself back, not you. I've been away. I'm the one who's been away. Whoops. I'm welcoming myself back. I've earned it. I took a 2-week vacation. I don't know, when did it start? Started on the 7th? Yeah. So, yeah, I've been away for about 2.5, almost 3 weeks now. How was my break, you ask? I'm so glad someone brought it up. I'm so glad someone said it. How was my break? Well, for starters, hold on. This is what my bathroom looks like. This is my bathroom right now. That's the shower. And that's the lack of floor. So let me back up a little bit, I guess. At the start of my break, we were alerted of a leak. This was maybe a week before the break started. We got a little hang tag on our door just saying, hey, you got a leak, we checked the meters, it's going fucking nuts out here. You should probably check this out. So we did. We let the landlord know, and my first 2 days of my vacation were spent waking up at a.m. to wait for the maintenance guy to come, and he never did for the first 2 days. First 2 days were spent waiting for nothing, because, I don't know, he had family stuff going on, apparently. And this is the only maintenance guy, because it's just a family friend, the landlord's. So, I wait the first 2 days. Girlfriend still has to work, so she still goes to work. Everything like that. I'm the one who has to wait at home. Just sitting around, fucking waiting for these guys to show up. I gotta have the dogs up, just in case they show up at any fucking second. And then they just don't. So then, fast forward pretty much the entire time I'm on my break. They do not show up. The landlord flies in from Arizona to figure this out himself, who also, I'll add, has dementia. So, fucking thankful for him, I guess. Just insane. So he flies all the way out from Arizona to come here. And he shows up, and I think he shows up on my birthday, the 15th. Or no, the day before. So we can't see him until Monday. He shows up on Saturday, doesn't come Saturday, doesn't come Sunday, says he's gonna come Monday, but we're out all day doing stuff Monday, and we don't get a call from him. Tuesday finally rolls around, 3 days ago. Landlord is able to show up with the stepson of the maintenance guy. And they start working. They start trying to find this leak, and lo and behold, they don't find it. They don't find it. This is my bathroom right now. This is our downstairs bathroom. That's the shower up here. This is the shower. And, yeah, this is no floor. Does that make sense? Is this making sense? So, they just tore out the floor and started trying to crawl underneath the house to find the leak. They don't find it. They also tear out our kitchen sink, underneath you know how kitchen sinks have cabinets? The cabinets have bottoms to them where you set stuff on the cabinet, inside the cabinet. So they tore all the bottoms of the cabinets out. Didn't find the leak there. They pulled the stove out for some reason. So the stove is also halfway into the kitchen and is just chilling there right now, waiting for somebody to move it back, but we've been explicitly told not to move it back yet. And so we're like, what the fuck is going on? And again, they've just left this hole in our bathroom floor. We can't shower. We haven't been able to shower since Tuesday. They didn't tell us they were gonna do this either. They just started cutting, asking if we had tools and stuff like that, and they had to get like a fucking circular saw. It was insane. So they don't find the leak out here. And our house is also so old that the water shut off, the main, is not in the house. It's not inside. It's outside somewhere. I don't know where it is. And the house has not been updated, ever. So it's not like at one point it was ever moved back inside. So it's just fucking insane at this point. We don't know where the leak is. Landlord doesn't know where the leak is. So they turn to extreme measures, in my opinion. Just slightly extreme. Just a little extreme. They brought in an excavator. There's an excavator now. The excavator has entered the chat. That's right. There's an excavator now. What are they gonna do with the excavator? Just fucking wild, you know? Just, like, why would you ever think that this is a thing that would happen in your life? So, they start poking around some more. They definitely are not finding the water shutoff. So, they just drive the excavator up into the fucking yard. They just drive it into my yard. There's an excavator in my yard right now. Just chilling there. This is yesterday. There's a fucking excavator out there. There's a fucking excavator. This is my house. This is my fucking Ring notification. We got that. We're driving to work. And we get this. Just fucking wild so far. So then, obviously, you know, excavator has to start excavating. So yeah, there's now a 4-foot deep pit in the side of my yard. And just the tiniest little pipe I've ever seen in my entire life is at the bottom of it. These people are like trying to find dinosaur bones or digging for oil in my fucking yard. Because they can't find a leak. And again, the floor hasn't been repaired in the bathroom yet either. Like, there's plywood down there now. That got put in today. So now we're finally able to shower. But there's no floor, so we have to like lay down a towel on the ground so we don't splinter our feet. Oh my god, it's just fucking insane. So this was taken just like an hour ago. This is the view from right there. From right there. That blanket, that green blanket you see on top of that couch is that. The excavator's still there! They left it overnight. They didn't use it today. They aren't going to use it again. It's still there. This is the view when you walk into my office. This is the view. This is what I got to see today. There's just a fucking excavator in the yard. There's still a ton of fucking holes in everywhere. Garfield got out yesterday because of that. He got underneath the goddamn house. We put this like big crate thing in front of those like cabinet doors so that he couldn't paw it open and climb inside and get underneath the house. They fucking moved him. They moved the crate. And so I was just downstairs. I was about to make food and I was like, wait a second, where's Garfield? And I looked down and I saw him go right down into the hole. Just disappeared for like an hour. I was calling, I was screaming, I was fucking crying. It was awful. It was fucking awful. I can't. Is it finders keepers? Do I get to keep the excavator now? Is it mine? Can I eminent domain the excavator that's sitting in my own yard? I don't know whose it is. I don't know if it's the city's. And they locked it. I tried to get in there earlier and they locked it. Those fucking bastards. They locked me out. Who just leaves an excavator? There's an entire excavator in my yard. Oh, and both of the toilets now are like perpetually running. We don't know what happened. The landlord can't figure out what happened. The stepson of the maintenance guy can't figure out what happened. Both toilets are just like constantly hissing now. It's not like they're refilling or anything. Like, I don't know what. I don't know what. It's fucking confusing. It's weird. This house is falling apart around us. It's over 100 years old at this point. It was built in 1900. It's 120 years old. Just knock it down at this point. It has no historical value at all. It's not even like one of the cool houses from the 1900s. It's just like falling apart. Christ. Anyways, on to our main topic. Secondary topic? Second to the main topic. Secondary main topic. We're watching this Vice documentary. Drugged and Butchered, How Organ Traffickers Operate. Criminal Planet. Obviously we had to watch it. Fucking title, Drugged and Butchered, How Organ Traffic. I want to know how organ traffickers operate. Currently, I don't know how they operate. And I'm hoping this video sheds some light on it. But like, why is organ trafficking so popular? I don't know. I hope they explain. Sorry, I'm just fucking caught up on the excavator still being in my yard. I can't get over it. There's an entire fucking excavator in my yard. Hey, what's up? We're gonna watch this Vice documentary and play some New Vegas. I just got telling about how my break was. It was shit. There's an excavator in my yard. I'm not even joking. Is loud enough? Oh, there's not even sound on. Whoops.
1 mile from the U.S. border, thousands of people escaping poverty and violence in Central America find themselves trapped in the city of Mexicali.
Tonight, chaos erupting on the border. A humanitarian crisis as questions increase looking for solutions to calm the situation.
The U.S. government's hardline stance on immigration has left them stateless and homeless. They are now being targeted by a vile criminal trade, the buying and selling of human organs.
That's shit. They just can't catch a break.
Hola, ¿cómo estás? Bien, bien, aquí estamos a la orden.
I've come to meet Gonzalo, who has provided refuge to over 7,000 migrants in Mexicali in the last few years.
So tell me a bit about this neighborhood. What sorts of issues have you been seeing?
Hay mucha delincuencia organizada, porque nos llega gente que fue secuestrada, violando sus derechos
Video going
humanos
slow? I
y
can't tell.
les han quitado un órgano
No, it's fine.
por haber llegado con la ilusión del sueño americano.
How many people have you personally seen or experienced that have had their kidneys extracted?
Pues han sido unas 20 personas.
What happened to them?
Se fue un grupo, estamos hablando
What are
de
the
15
odds
personas
on that?
a cruzar. Otras personas en los cuales les invitaron
What is
sola. El paso a seguir fue que se durmieron. Cuando despertaron, uno de ellos me platicó que se ladea y le duele.
I mean, it's not like
la
1%, but
espalda.
that's
Y ahí
still
fue
like
donde
way
se
too many.
sale
20
que
people is still
tenía
way too many to have their
sangre,
kidneys removed.
pero a la vez sintió una cortada. Entonces se sorprendió. Él le habla a su hermano y a su primo y llorando así, sin riñón.
Yeah, they fucking cried.
These people were just sedated and tricked and had their organs extracted.
Es el modus vivendus. No es una persona ni dos, son grupos que es una mafia.
I feel like I always heard jokes about this, like, growing up. Like, my dad would tell me weird fucking jokes about, like, waking up in a bathtub full of ice with, like, your kidney gone. So this isn't, like, a new thing. How many kidneys does the mafia need? When is it enough? What the fuck does the mafia need kidneys for? Are they doing kidney transplants? Is it for, like, selling to why? Why is there an organ trade? What is the point? It's like, it like rots. It's not like you can keep it either. I mean, maybe you could like cover it in epoxy. Why is there an organ trade? I can't really wrap my head around it.
Fronteriza.
I knew the buying and selling of organs was happening here, but hadn't expected to find that people were also being drugged and butchered. Mexico's vile and exploitative criminal trade in human organs is fueled by a health crisis across the border in the US. In 2020, nearly 90,000 Americans were waiting for a kidney transplant.
It is.
Yet only 1 in 5 received a donor. On average, 20 US citizens die every day waiting for an organ transplant.
Jesus.
This leads some
I feel like
Americans
that's a
to
big
turn
plot
to the
point
black
in
market,
House.
but they have little idea about the human
This
misery.
was a plot point in House. I remember. He was there was a husband. His like wife was dying. And he was gonna get like an organ off the black market, and have like a different black market doctor do the operation. And the reason House wouldn't do the operation to begin with is that it was like way too risky. So like I guess this is what it opens it up to, is just like homegrown doctors trying to do transplants and shit.
That lies behind the trade.
But why so many
After
kidneys?
weeks of working connections in the criminal underworld, we've made contact with an organ trafficking gang who claim to work across international borders, bringing U.S. patients
Like
into
the bookstore?
Mexicali. They prey on migrants, offering them $5,000 in exchange for a kidney.
That is
I always feel
nothing.
nervous about meeting someone who operates within the black
$5,000 for a kidney? How much does it cost to how much is a kidney transplant? $442,000. Yeah, okay, that's a pretty good fucking deal for a kidney. My God. That's like pennies. For an organ, $5,000 is gonna give them like 2 months rent. For a kidney. That's insane. And they're like, obviously, like, the people they're preying on are in such a vulnerable position that, like, $5,000 is like handing them $1 billion. That solves so many of their of the worries just like right in front of them, right then and there. That's like a month's rent. That's groceries. God, you can spend $5,000 in a like month so quickly. I say this is somebody who $5,000 would be life changing to. Maybe I'll give my fucking kidney away.
That's always something.
I'll up my price though.
I get the jitters before going in. All right.
Now that I know I have some working room. $442,000.
The pit bull.
Jesus Christ.
Dog.
Oh, thank you for the follow. Corned con.
There's for you guys. Some masks. How big is your team?
Between 10, 15, up to 20 people. Right here, Mexicali, US, Mexicali, and the other people.
And they
10 to 20 people is quite a big margin.
They want to take the blood out and take it to the laboratory, so they give you the results that he's a compatible person.
Why do you go after the poor people to get their kidney?
It's not the poor people, because there's plenty of people from the South that came looking for the American dream, and they stuck in here. They don't have jobs, they don't have nothing right here. So talk to them and offer a solution. Because a lot of people know that you can live with only with kidney. He's gonna get out something else.
So do they feel like they're Robin Hood? Okay, this is an interesting dynamic.
I'm just doing my job and helping people. Get some money for do that.
The organ trafficker tells me that he pays off corrupt medical staff to get lists of kidney patients in U.S. hospitals. If they're interested in his service, they have to send him a blood sample.
So your U.S. clients, going back to the U.S., because that's what I'm really curious about. So you have Arizona, California,
Florida,
Nevada,
and closer the Oklahoma.
Oklahoma.
Once the doctor and his gang has tested the sample, he scours the streets of Mexicali for homeless migrants whose blood is compatible with the American client.
How do you even know?
He lets us follow.
Does he just like
prays
drive
on
up and ask, like, hey, what's your blood type? Is he doing like drive-by blood tests? He's a drive-by phlebotomist? I don't... Is he just like a really good eye? He's able to spot him? That's the one. Their blood will match. Get him, boys! Jesus Christ. The phrase goes scouring the streets for homeless migrants whose blood matches is insane. That is the plot to a fucking horror movie. Jesus Christ. That's terrifying.
Asking him how license trading engineer in Mexicali just started blowing up. Told me the problem that he had. So that's when we started to listen. And tell him that I got his money.
With the police?
¿Tiene, está sano su persona es sano?
Sí.
Sí. ¿Todo bien?
Yo me siento bien.
¿Sabe que puede vivir sin un riñón usted, verdad?
No, yo no vendo mis cosas.
No vende sus órganos, perfecto. Está bien.
Police everywhere, huh? But is he someone
At
you
least,
grew up with? Kind of old.
At least he's
I
nice.
could go with him and tell him, because he will go to tell the other people.
Oh, that's what I'm saying. He's going to
You
the
go.
people.
Now you see how everyone can get my information.
I see.
It's like a chain.
A few minutes later, another homeless migrant appears.
Mira, tengo una... Probablemente pueda ser tu solución a tu problema de dinero.
No, it's not. $5,000 is not the solution to someone's money problems.
Tengo uno más. Para dar a 5,000.
Con un riñón.
Sí. ¿Cómo ves?
Estaba de pensarse, pero sí, se pudo.
It's not good money, dude. It's not good money at all.
Consentimiento tuyo y lo firmas y ya hacemos todo papeleo bien. Y el dinero está aquí en efectivo. Pero solo tenemos que hacer unos exámenes para ver tu compatibilidad para saber que tomamos el trasplante. Estoy seguro que ustedes bien. No que ustedes no poner y tomar que ustedes no.
Sí, porque la familia también decía aquí, pues ahorita está muy dura la
It's
cosa.
so fucking weird. He's just cruising town.
To my left, there's rows of homeless people just laying on the street. And this guy came from that same alleyway.
People can live with one kidney, but it's a highly complicated surgery. Only the most desperate would place their life in the hands of a black market surgeon.
Organ trafficking, organ harvesting is a hideous crime. For the facilitators, this is just business. They see these people as money, you know. And because they're vulnerable, because there's nobody to defend them there, many of these people are also tricked into it. They will, yeah.
I'll be honest, I don't know how I feel about it yet. Knowing that it's to help people who like don't have access to proper health care or who aren't high up on the priority list for donors, what the donor list, I think that's what it's called. Who aren't like high up on the donor list, it's like giving them a second chance at life. But at the same time, it's also like super predatory towards just homeless and disenfranchised people. Like people who already have nothing. And they're just fucking taking organs from them. Like, I would feel better if they were approaching, like, anyone. Not just, like, preying on homeless people. Preying on the homeless and the immigrants are... That's the problem that I have. If they were just, like, going into a Walgreens and, like, asking the cashier... like if they want to donate their kidney for $5,000, I think that would be less of a problem than like doing it super shadily on the street. I don't know. I'll have to watch more.
You're young, you know, your kidney will grow back, which is obviously is a medical impossibility. I mean,
they don't tell them that it'll grow back.
There are so many risks involved with these illegal surgeries that are performed in places that sometimes aren't even hospitals, in places, you know, where there's no hygiene. A lot of these people may become sick. It can also be deadly. A kidney can be sold with $100,000, and then the money that the migrant, the poor people get are a tiny fraction of that.
Oh, right, capitalism. Forgot about that part. That's kind of fucked. Yeah, that's really fucked up.
And the surgeon.
Yeah.
It takes a network to develop this type of organ trade. And it's almost always across borders. Because in order for a facilitator of this
like it's happening in the same town.
business to be successful,
I'm not getting my neighbor's stolen
they
kidney.
need to operate between rich countries and poorer countries, or conflict areas and economies that are stable, because this is where the money is.
The trafficking gangs work with a network of corrupt doctors across Mexico. Surgeons here earn just $22,000 per year, 14 times less than doctors in the US.
I was about to Google
so
it.
Some
Thanks.
are easily lured into the trade.
14 times. I mean,
So
yeah.
my fixer just revealed
That's
some information to me.
$22,000 a year is like what I make working at Subway. And they're a fucking surgeon? Yeah, I'd be taking bribes all the time. I would be taking bribes all the time. I would be cutting down organs just for the hell of it, just to get some more practice in. $22,000 a year to be a surgeon? Fuck off. That is not... Why would anyone be a surgeon at that point? I mean, like, obvious... Because it's $22,000. It's probably insanely high in that area. Just insane. How much does the fucking organ stealer make?
About a doctor who's been operating in the black market business for 6 years, and we are about to go meet with him. ¿Cómo estás?
Bien, 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 ¿ustedes?
So can you tell me a little bit about how you got into the clandestine part of your job?
En la medicina atendemos gente de bien, gente de la mafia, narcotraficantes.
I've interviewed people who've recruited migrants off the street to sell their organs. What do you think about that?
Nunca una gente que tenga dinero va a vender su órgano. Siempre tiene que ser una gente pobre.
Who are you
I guess
operating
that's
on?
true,
Are
but you
clients-
aren't even asking the people with money. You're not even, like, trying. Like, I bet if you asked some rich dude and offered him more than $5,000, which you should also be offering more than $5,000 to the poor people, but if you offered him more than $5,000, if you were like, I will give you $50,000, half. That's half. 50% of the, like, profit they make from selling the kidney overseas should, like, go to the, you know, $50,000, I feel, is a fair fucking price for your kidney. Can't even do $50,000. Dude, so many people would be selling their organs if you were like, I will give you $50,000. Of course, everybody's gonna scoff at $5,000 for a kidney, except for people who are homeless, because they... What? What a bad like, I don't know.
It's American, or what are their background?
No, son de todo el país, pero también hay extranjeros de la frontera vecina, porque obviamente el costo varía mucho de allá hacia acá, por eso.
Are the cartels involved?
Bueno,
Well, duh.
creo que no, pues todos los cárteles están involucrados.
Bad question.
Pues a mí me llevan, ahí sí, de manera forzada. Tenían a una persona, una levantada, una persona que tenían ahí secuestrada, porque debía $60,000 y querían que se les pagara con un riñón. Entonces, pues obviamente pagó con un riñón, ¿sí? Pero ahí sí, no había opción. Lo teníamos que hacer. Igual
Jesus
puedes
Christ.
muy bien por esto, pero igual te obligan a hacerlo sin ningún centavo. Es un doble filo.
He claims the cartels sometimes force him to work for free, but the organ trafficking gang
Well, that's
he
pretty
mainly
fucked.
works for pays him highly lucrative fees. How much money do you make?
Sí, son riñones que es lo más frecuente. Pues menos, ¿no? Son $30,000-$40,000.
Per kidney?
Si es hígado, son $60,000-$70,000. Corazón, pues ahí ya se van a $100,000-$150,000, dependiendo, ¿no? O sea, depende de la dificultad y el riesgo del órgano.
The surgeon refuses to tell us where he gets hearts and livers from, but the implication is horrifying. One of Mexico's notorious cartels has been linked to the trade.
Jesus Christ.
In 2014, the Knights Templar were investigated on suspicion of kidnapping and murdering children to harvest their
Wait,
organs for sale.
what? I'm sorry, the fucking Knights Templar are still a thing? What the fuck? Didn't they do the Crusades? Am I missing something here? Is that like just a what? Is that like a gang? They stopped being a thing in 1312. What? I don't understand. Is there a modern Knights Templar? What the fuck? Oh. I don't really want to go to these websites. I don't. What? That's not. What is the connection? Let's go to Smithsonian Magazine. I trust Smithsonian Magazine. Not to. What? Disbanded 700 years ago, the most famous of the medieval Christian orders is undergoing a 21st century revival? What the fuck? Why? They're just... What the fuck? Okay, so in Mexico, it's the Knights Templar, but it's like specific to them. What the fuck? Why? Guys, Nazis don't have to come back. The Knights Templar don't have to come back. Why? Rome fell for a reason. We don't have to think about it every single day. Things are allowed to just die, you know? Like maybe the Knights Templar shouldn't still be a fucking thing. Are you serious? Do they have like swords and shields and fucking... What? Jesus Christ.
There have also been 2 horror stories about dead tourist bodies being stripped for body parts in Mexican hospitals. But the scale of organ trafficking in Mexico is largely hidden, as most of the victims can't turn to the authorities for help.
Migrants, because of their illegal status, in most cases, especially on the Mexico-US border, they have no rights. They need the money to cross the border. They need the money to survive, and they have nothing except their own bodies. There are so many people who are missing in Mexico, and nobody knows nothing about their fate from time to time they find these fields where lots of bodies are buried.
What
and
the fuck?
Many of these people are migrants. Many of these, bodies are burnt already or chopped to pieces.
Well,
They
yeah,
can't really
trying to
go
fucking
to the
dispose.
police because
Jesus.
many of the police in these areas are corrupt, and they're working hand in hand with the traffickers. The migrants, being the victims, are not a priority at all for the Mexican law enforcement. There are so many other things that they're focused on, like the war on drugs. The US is trying to stop this migration from Central America via Mexico into the United States. The migrants and their lives and their health is nowhere on the list of priorities, neither in Mexico nor in the United States. So this makes them the perfect victims. They're victims that will not leave a trace.
So fucked up. It's
We've
just
discovered
fucking
migrants are not
awful.
the only victims. We've made contact with one trafficker who recruits directly from Mexico's prison system.
Soy intermediario entre el donador y la persona que necesita el órgano.
Yeah, it's not. They clearly are not trying to do this for like the betterment of humanity. They're doing this because it's like there's a market for it. There's a market for organs because people need organs because they can't get the transplant. But they're not. They didn't start asking people for their organs out of the kindness of their hearts. This is fucked up. Are you serious? Like, they'll just take people from the streets and from prison and fucking like steal their insides. That is horror movie shit.
How do you get someone to sell their kidney from prison?
Tienen necesidad de salir y ellos tienen un recurso económico para poder salir de ahí. Entonces, te venden tu riñón, a ellos no les importa, ellos quieren salir de ahí. Así de fácil.
The trafficker claims his money can help prisoners get back on their feet once they leave.
$5,000 will not help you get back on your feet after you leave prison. That's insane. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my entire life. It's such a... Oh, we'll think of some excuses later. I think he's just making that shit up on the spot to sound good.
Deal. Are you nervous? Your feet are... No?
I don't leave emotions.
You have no emotions?
No.
Your eyes look a little wet, bro. I have no emotion. None. Not at all. Don't even fucking insinuate that ever again. How dare you accuse me? How dare you accuse me of having emotions? Yeah, he's like not making eye contact. His eyes wet as fuck. Foot bouncing up and down. Not nervous. I have no emotions. Fuck off.
Órale, ¿y cuándo te falta para salir de ahí? Pues la neta, jefe, no sé, yo ya estoy en la neta, yo también ya estoy a punto de salir. ¿Ah, sí? Ya tengo 5 años, por lo que vengo yo no... De cualquier manera necesitas dinero, pues. Sí, pues, es obvio. Ah, órale. Oye, y es que pasa esto, que ocupo que te tengo un receptor, una persona que ocupa un riñón. Ay, ¿qué onda? ¿Sí jalas? Pues, ¿qué te parece? $5,000. ¿Cuánto? 5,000. 5,000, sí, estás apto.
Why is he pretending to write with his finger?
Sí. Ah, bueno.
What the easy is that?
Eso es un trato. Ah, ok, está bien, gracias, pues, Ándale, pues, hasta luego, hermano. Que estés bien. Cuídate. Ya vi todo fácil que es. Eso fue en 40 minutos. Yo, si me das 20 días, te junto 10 ahí. 10 personas.
You don't feel sad
That's
for him?
fucking insane.
What's known as transplant tourism isn't just confined to Mexico.
What does that mean?
A recent report found that organ trafficking generates an estimated $1.7 billion a year globally.
Yeah, don't call it transplant tourism. It's organ trafficking. They're trafficking people's organs across borders. Don't call it fucking tourism. They aren't tourists. Their organs have been stolen.
There's one country where this trade happens on an industrial scale. In China, it isn't run by traffickers, but by the state.
What?
Disturbing news just out from London. A tribunal found that some of the victims of the forced organ harvesting are detainees from the Falun Gong movement. Former Falun Gong and Uyghur Muslim inmates report they were subjected to ongoing medical checkups and blood testing.
In 2019, an international tribunal accused China of executing tens of thousands of political prisoners and selling their organs on the black
Jesus
market
Christ!
between
Thank God they
2000 and
fucking blurred
2005.
that.
The organs fed a demand from wealthy foreigners from across the globe.
South Korean police say they're investigating an organized crime group that sends patients to China for organ transplants. The
What
Chinese
the
regime banned
fuck?
organ transplant tourism in 2007, but the practice continues, with people willing to pay tens of thousands of dollars to skip the long waiting lists for organs in their own countries.
China claims it stopped harvesting prisoners' organs in 2015.
That's
But in
fucking
2019,
insane.
The tribunal found that the constant supply of organs available in Chinese hospitals could only be coming from executions.
That is fucking crazy. That can't be real. That's a made up thing that I feel like an insane person would tell me on the street. Are you serious? China is executing prisoners and selling their organs is like a Trump talking point. What the hell? That's like what I would hear a conservative uncle say. And it just keeps happening. It's like, for real? They're for real doing it? And they don't care. They just keep on. They just say that they stopped. Which is crazy that it took until 2015 for them to just say that they're stopping. They obviously didn't stop, but it took until 2015 for them to say that they're gonna stop executing their prisoners for their organs. What the fuck?
Makes you think of some grotesque restaurant where you go in and you pick your lobster in a tank. But these are human beings we're talking about.
Yeah! Great point.
Chinese surgeon Dr. Enver Tohti was a key whistleblower for the tribunal.
This photo is probably the only photo I can find as a surgeon. This is me.
Once a highly skilled surgeon, he now lives in political exile in London,
What?
earning a scant living as an Uber driver.
One day, my chief surgeon asked me, said, "Do you want to do something wild?"
What?
Said, "We are
That's-
going to the
That is never a good question to be asked as a surgeon. Do you want to do something wild? No. We can't just start doing shit willy-nilly. That's like what you hear from your bored coworker at Lowe's. You want to do something wild today, and you race forklifts. You don't steal a homeless man's organs. That's not the wild thing to do. What the fuck?
execution ground. Oh, I was panicking. Why I'm going to the execution ground? Not only me, the nurse and my assistant. Everybody was panicking. What are we going to do?
Get executed?
Our job is to save people. Why we are going to go to the execution ground? You can see there are more than 10 people got shot already. And they were wearing prisoner's uniform. And the head was shaved, like mine. And then the bullet comes through here and out from here. So this part is blown away.
Jesus Christ!
To, as quick as possible, remove the liver and 2 kidneys. Then I saw that he is alive. My chief surgeon was standing to my left. Said, okay, cut here, through that way, go quickly, because that kind of operation, that thing in China is illegal. It is encouraged by the state. We got brainwashed from this kindergarten. So if anybody got shot because he's executed, that means he's enemy of the state.
So fucked
This
up.
is large-scale illegal organ harvesting. And the targets are Uyghurs, Tibetans, Falun Gong members. These are innocent people who are killed by the communist regime. It seems that Falun Gong members, especially, were targeted, had their organs harvested because they live these clean lifestyles with no smoking, no alcohol. We know that in 2006 alone, 11,000 tourists went to China to get an organ. The fact that in China, one can receive a kidney in a matter of hours points out to the fact that China is meeting this demand very probably by killing people.
That is such a crazy... Imagine being the person taking the kidney. And you're like traveling there for it. So it's not like you just happen upon the kidney, you know? It's not like somebody else finds it for you. How do you reconcile that with yourself? How do you live going on knowing that the only reason you're alive is because somebody else was fucking executed just for the organs? Or that, like, a homeless man was paid $5,000 for his kidney, and maybe the surgery got bought. Maybe that homeless guy's not even alive anymore. How do you live with that? I don't think I would want to keep going. That just feels so... You killed that person by asking for a kidney. It's not even like they were dying and on the fucking donor list to, like, give up their organs when they died. Somebody was just like, I will pay you $5,000 for this kidney, and then they may or may not die on the operating table. Fucking hell.
We're very likely witnessing a modern-day genocide, and the international community is not even able to grasp
We are, and
the
it's in
extent
Palestine.
of this possible genocide, because there's a scarcity of information, because international bodies are afraid of China. So if China is not going to be accountable for their deeds, China will become even more powerful and more daring in just challenging the international law. China is like a bull that marches on the world, you know.
What is he writing?
Destroys a lot in its path.
China is not the only country that has allowed its citizens to be butchered for profit. Until 2010, transplant tourism was legal in Pakistan, with 66% of all organs going to foreign patients.
Is it like, when they say it's legal in these places, do they mean like it's specifically legal, or they just don't have a law outlawing it? Because I can totally understand like a country just not having a law about it at all. Because why the fuck would you think that you would need that law? Hey guys, maybe we should make it illegal for foreigners to come into the country and steal people's organs. No, I don't think we need to make that a law. That should never happen. That's weird that you would even consider that. Sounds like you want to steal people's organs. So strange.
The Pakistani government has made commercial organ transplants a criminal offense punishable by 10 years in jail.
That's
but
not a
criminal
lot.
networks have filled the void, selling as many as 100 organs every month.
I've come to Pakistan because I hear it's a real hotspot for illegal organ trafficking and the third most popular country in the world for transplant tourism next to India and China, and the cheapest, where kidneys are sold for as little as $1,000.
Organ trafficking is so rife in Pakistan that the government has set up an agency to combat it. Led by Adnan Bhatti, the Punjab Human Organ Transplantation Authority, or FOTA, has so far put 11 organ trafficking gangs behind bars.
तो टीम को रेडी रखें, टीम ए टीम ई भी दोनों.
Adnan has just heard from an informant that an illegal transplant is about to take place.
Are they gonna get there in time? It's about to happen. What?
चलो भाई, रेडी है भाई. चलो चलो बैठो यार.
To avoid detection, the gangs commonly move patients immediately after surgery. So Adnan's team must intercept them as quickly as possible.
जब भी उधर से किसी किस्म का अगर कोई अटैक होता है, पहले आपने जो है ना.
This feels dangerous for everybody.
हवाई फायर करना है. Yes sir. और अगर आपको इंफॉर्मेशन मिले कुछ सस्पिशियस लगे, तो फिर उनके.
They get moved immediately after surgery.
फायर मारिएगा. ठीक है सर. अगर आपको रेजिस्टेंस मिले फिर भी, तो आप फिर उसकी टांग पे फायर मार सकते हैं. ठीक है सर. ठीक है. ठीक है सर. हाँ, very good.
Just as they're about to engage, Adnan receives orders to call off the raid.
What? Why?
Pakistani intelligence are planning a wider investigation and fear Adnan could jeopardize it by striking too early. Back at his headquarters, he tells me how deadly these illegal surgeries can be.
So how bad is the illegal organ trade in Pakistan?
तो मैं ये समझता हूँ कि सबसे जो इस माफिया का है ना, ये इन हैवाननुमा लोगों का, ये जानवर लोगों का, एक तो ये ट्रैप करके फैमिलीज़ को जब अपने झांसे में ले आते हैं, तो एक तो 4 से 5 मिलियन कोई कभी वो कहीं से बारो करता है, कभी कहीं से बारो करता है, कुछ लैंड बेच देता है, कोई घर बेच देते हैं, और फिर भी उनका जो बेटा था, बेटी थी, बीवी थी या हस्बैंड था, और वो जा चुके हैं, छोड़ चुके हैं, सब इस दुनिया को, मर चुके हैं. और सक्सेसफुल रेट 5% है.
Surgeries carried out by the gangs are often botched and lead to multiple deaths. Adnan is investigating a new gang led by a trafficker called Muzaffar.
इनके लिए जो है ना, वो ज़रा भी किसी किस्म की सिंपथीज हमें नहीं होनी चाहिए. इन लोगों को जब तक हैंग नहीं करेंगे, तो ये, क्योंकि अब तक ये तो वो चीज़ें हैं जो इन्वेस्टिगेशन में सामने आई कि इसने 12 से 13 या 15 लोगों की सर्जरीज करवाई. ही इज़ द मैन के वो विल बी फिक्स्ड इंशाल्लाह.
I've come to meet the mother of one of the organ trafficker Muzaffar's victims, a woman named Rahana.
That's sad.
Her 30-year-old son Hassan just died 2 months ago.
Hassan is wife. The wedding, na? Yes. So these are like really happy
Why do you
memories.
say it's weird?
Hassan had recently married and found a new well-paid job in marketing when his life was tragically cut short. He was approached by Muzaffar's gang when he was at his most vulnerable. In hospital while receiving dialysis, they offered to sell him a kidney. Desperate to get better, he agreed. But the gang didn't test whether the donor was a match.
What? That's like the one thing you do. That's like the only thing you should do. You could probably just stuff the kidney in there, not even close it up, and he could maybe possibly be fine. But if it doesn't match, it's gonna fucking kill him. That's the one thing you have to do, is test that it's a match so that his body doesn't attack it. Are you fucking shitting me? What the fuck?
Rejected the kidney. His mother Rahana visits his grave every day.
मैं यही बोलना चाहती हूँ कि जिस तरह हम लुट गए हैं, हमने अपने हाथों से अपने बच्चे को लेके गए, कोई इस तरह का कदम ना उठाए. यहाँ जानवर है, ये दुनिया में बहुत जानवर है. मेरे पास कुछ भी नहीं है सब। नहीं बता
Oh, thank you. Thank you for the
जान भी
follow.
चली गई।
Thank you.
घर भी मैं जा रहा था, मैं किराए के
After
घर अपना
Lord
घर था वो बेच दिया।
Goh.
कुछ भी नहीं रहा।
Thank
जान
you.
बचाने के लिए सब कुछ किया था, हसन की जान भी चली गई।
No. Die. Don't
sold her house and
Don't
family
ever
jewelry to
pause,
pay Organ.
pause. Don't ever fucking chat this to me again. Don't fucking fuck off. Goodbye. Goodbye. Get banned. Fuck all the way off.
Organ trafficker Muzaffar for her son's operation.
So the minute you arrived in Rawalpindi, you started to notice things were off and were getting dodgy, right? What was going through your mind in these moments?
Oh, really? Really? They took away our cell phones and we got suspicious. I would be too. Yeah, that's a good reason to get suspicious. That's a really good reason to get suspicious. We're gonna do this transplant. But first, give me your phone, and your phone, and your phone. There's not a camera, get it out of here.
इसीलिए तो मैं ऑपरेशन थिएटर में गई थी। हसन को पसीने आ रहे थे और हसन की आंखें बिल्कुल ऐसी थी, तो वो आंखें अपनी नहीं चिपका रहा था, तो मैं चीखने लगी कि ये हसन इस तरह क्यों है, हसन इस तरह क्यों है। तो मुझे कहते हैं कि नहीं, हसन इस टाइम होश में नहीं है, इसलिए मैंने हसन को आवाज़ें दी, हसन हसन हसन। तो हसन ने मुझे ऐसे करके फिर देखा।
Hassan survived the surgery, but his body began to reject the kidney.
वो मुझे कहता है कि मामा मुझे अब सांस नहीं आ रही, मतलब मुझे इस तरह पेन हो रहा है कि मेरा जिस्म सुन्न होता जा रहा है और मुझे सांस नहीं आ रही। जब मैंने हाथ लगाया तो उसके जिस्म बहुत ज़्यादा सख्त हो रहा था। इतने में बस हसन की जान निकल गई, हसन ख़त्म हो गए, वहीं डेथ हो गई।
If Hassan had been matched with the correct donor and had proper surgery, he would have had a 95% chance of survival. After her ordeal, Rehana got in touch with Fota.
हमारा तो चला गया बेटा, बाकी तो किसी और के ना जाए, इंसाफ मिलना चाहिए। हम इन लोगों को सजा
Absolutely, justice fucking needs to be served. You can't just steal people's fucking organs. I'm sorry. Maybe a hot take.
Fota traced the organ trafficker Muzaffar's cell phone and arrested him. Our local crew have got access to interview him in prison.
मेरा नाम मुजफ्फर है, मैं लाहौर से हूँ, बत्ती चौक से। तो ये अनलीगल काम में मैं तकरीबन 5-6 माह से
Only 5 to 6 months.
पहले मुझे पैसों की ज़रूरत थी बहुत अर्जेंटली, तो मैंने खुद अपनी किडनी दी और पैसे कर्जा ले
So it just perpetuates.
वापस किया।
Oh, is he the guy?
तो उसके बाद उन लोगों ने मुझे कहा कि अगर आप कोई एक आध बंदा लाओगे तो हम आपको 30,000 40,000 रुपया। तो तकरीबन मैं 4-5 बंदे लेके गया और वो मुझे इस तरह पैसे देते रहे। खुद गरीब घर से हूँ, रेंट पे मेरा घर है। बस ये नहीं पता था ये इतना बड़ा काम है, तो मुझसे गलती हुई है, मैं मानता हूँ। बस ये देखता था कि 30,000 आ गया, 40,000 आ गया, यार बड़ी बात है, यार घर का खर्चा सुकून से मैनेज हो जाएगा। बस इसी के लिए ये सारा किया, अपने लिए, बच्चों को देखा कि उनका पेट पालने के लिए।
I feel bad, but at the same time, what do you mean you didn't know it was a big crime that, like, taking people's organs? There's a reason that there's, like, a process. You know that, right? Like, if you went to a child and you asked them if it was illegal to take somebody's organs, the child would be able to tell you that that's illegal and fucked up. What do you mean you didn't know that it was a big crime? Like, even if it's not a big crime, that's still, like, insanely immoral.
ये किया बस। तो पाकिस्तान में इतनी गरीबी है कि हर दूसरा बंदा मजबूर होता है वो नहीं देखता लीगल है अनलीगल है क्या है ये उसको नहीं पता होता है
Muzaffar claims he's not the criminal kingpin.
डॉक्टर जो भी पकड़ा नहीं गया जिसने सारे पैसे लिए हैं हमें इधर मार पड़ रही है कि पैसे तो किधर से दे पैसे 30,000 40,000 रुपया लिए किधर से दे पैसे सारे पैसे तो वो ले चले गए
Yeah, I mean, obviously he is not the kingpin, but he's the fall guy, I guess. This is, yeah, it's a cycle. It's just a perpetuating cycle of fucking violence and just sickening behavior.
Muzaffar has been charged with murder and removing human organs illegally. Rehana's son was not the only victim of Muzaffar's gang.
एजेंट और डॉक्टर्स ने फरूक मसीह के दोनों गुर्दे 36 लाख के फरोख्त किए। वाक़े होने पर नाश लाहौर में जिना अस्पताल के करीब फेंक दी गई।
Around the same time, a 25-year-old man named Farouk was picked up in an ambulance with both kidneys missing.
What?
Ulta believes he may have been the donor. The ambulance driver who was called to the scene is still traumatized by what he witnessed.
It's a lot of blood. Yeah, all of this is blood?
जी ये फरूक का ब्लड है
Where was he bleeding from?
कमर के तो जब मैंने बाद में देखा कि इसकी ब्लीडिंग भी हो रही है पेशेंट की पहले तो कंबल था जब मैंने देखा ब्लीडिंग भी हो रही है तो मैंने यही सोचा कि यार इसको हॉस्पिटल लेके जाना चाहिए जब मुझे पता लग गया कि यार ये मसलन केस कोई और है उल्टा केस है
When the ambulance driver arrived, Farouk was guarded by one of Muzaffar's gang members.
What did the gang member look like? उसका चेहरा क्या?
मेरी एज का था बस स्मार्ट सा मेरे जैसा था हम एज ही था लाहौर जब पहुंचा
Weird. Smart like me.
वो बोल रहा है कि यार मैं ना इसको मैंने पानी पीना है तो मैं पानी ले आऊं अपना पानी पीने के बहाने वो उतरा गाड़ी में से वो फरार हो गया वहां से
The gang member panicked and fled, leaving Farouk bleeding to death, stripped of both his kidneys.
What the fuck?
Like many victims of Pakistan's illegal organ trade, Farouk was a bonded laborer. Landlords trap families with high-interest loans, then force them to work for a pittance. Many see selling their kidney as the only escape from this debt slavery.
How is this legal?
2010, the year when Pakistan banned this practice, there was probably hope that things will change. But what happened was the demand was still there. Medical doctors, surgeons were already part of this system inside Pakistan. The recruiters, the facilitators were still there, and the poor people were still in the villages. So while this trade had to go underground, what happened was when you make something illegal, you increase the price. When you just make it outright illegal without taking care of the environment, without taking care of the root cause, without
Yes.
taking care of all the moving parts that make this traffic
It doesn't
work, you don't solve
yeah.
the problem.
It's like getting chemo for cancer while you're still smoking. Like there's an underlying problem here that is not being addressed at all. It's the war on fucking drugs. Like drugs I don't know. It's just there is a reason people's kidneys are being stolen, and maybe if we gave the gangs no reason to steal the organs, if we eliminated that demand, then it's solved. I just solved the organ crisis, guys.
Although they outlaw the practice, it's still ongoing. I mean, you can see Pakistanis advertising via social networks that they're willing to sell kidneys, and in the end what the facilitators leave behind them is a trail of dead bodies in many cases, because when you're doing this illegal activity and you're obviously not careful because you're after the money. You obviously don't have the proper means, the proper place, the proper surgeons. But this is a risk that many families are willing to take and many desperate people are willing to take, and this is what the facilitators are counting on. They just want the money, and for them it doesn't matter if the patient dies, if the donor dies.
The gangs recruit their victims from the poorest parts of Pakistan. I'm on my way to Kot Momin, a town in central Punjab where agricultural workers get paid less than $1 a day.
Jesus Christ. That's just slavery. That's just slavery.
A morbid open secret. Almost all the people here have sold their kidneys. Zafar works as a social activist, documenting the hundreds of villagers who have fallen victim to the trade in human flesh. Many of the villagers are now left with severely debilitating illnesses. Zafar has received a call from his friend. Having already sold his own, the man is now planning an unthinkable step.
It's gonna sell the other, isn't
Selling
he?
his children's kidneys.
No! That's even worse!
An agricultural worker is in debt to his landlord.
So Zulfikar, what you're telling me is you have 3 children, you're in $3,000 debt, and you're thinking about selling their kidneys.
Why does Vice not just give him $3,000 fucking dollars? Just do not let him sell his children's kidneys. What the hell?
I can't imagine how tough that is for you. How did you hear about it, this market for selling your kidneys? Which hospital?
Kidney center gaya Mukhtar Kidney Center se.
Rawalpindi?
Rawalpindi.
Zulfikar had his own kidney removed from the Mukhtar Kidney Center in 2001 and was thinking of taking his children there. But Zafar has persuaded him not to go ahead.
Thank God.
The Mukhtar Kidney Center is infamous for botched black market surgeries.
How are they still allowed to operate then? Like, they've been raided. It's an open secret. Like, they're notorious for botched kidney surgeries, and it's just still around?
It made the news in 2016 when 24 laborers were held against their will for forced kidney transplants.
दौरान 20 मर्द और 4 खवातीन को बाजियाब कराया गया। मुल्ज़मान पाकिस्तान के पसमानदा इलाकों से गुर्बत का शिकार लोगों को भारी मुआवजा के लालच देकर इनके गुर्दे निकाल कर न सिर्फ कम पैसे देते बल्कि भारी मुआवजे पर इसे अंदरूनी बैरून मुल्क फरोख्त करते थे।
So fucked up.
The recipients had traveled from all over Europe, America, and the Middle East. Many of them returned home with complications. The lead surgeon, Mukhtar Shah, was put on a U.S. sanctions list of human rights abusers. His son, Dr. Zahid Mukhtar, and one other were also arrested, but all of them only served a short time in jail.
Put these people
Pakistan claims
under
to be
the
clamping
prison.
down on the illegal kidney trade, but Dr. Zahid Mukhtar is still allowed to practice today.
Why?
There are people who are working in the lower levels of the mafia who are being jailed and prosecuted, but it's the ones that are in the higher levels, the doctors, the surgeons, who are able to run away. Take Zahid Mukhtar, for example. He went to jail for a year, got out, and is continuing at the kidney center.
The victims in this vile international trade all have something in common. Whether they're undocumented migrants in Mexico, political prisoners in China, or bonded laborers in Pakistan, they are all from the most vulnerable parts of society. As wealth disparities widen across the world, the black market organ trade has become the grim new face of global inequality. If the wealthy
Fucking
nations feeding
insane.
this demand don't take responsibility, it sets a dangerous precedent where poor people's bodies are allowed to become just another commodity for international organized crime.
The illegal organ harvesting that happens all over the world is a global scourge. It's a hideous form of modern slavery because you don't just use other humans, you cripple them for life. It's really fueled by poverty and by conflict. Poverty and conflict create these masses of people who are displaced, who are disempowered, who are voiceless. Official estimates are that there are 12,000 illegal transplants each year.
Jesus Christ, 12,000 a fucking year? How many legal transplants are there a year? How many organ transplants are there every year? So, that's fucking crazy. What? So there's 12,000 illegal transplants a year and 42,000 legal transplants. Those numbers should not be that close together.
The hidden nature of this crime is really hard to verify these numbers, but in my opinion, they are very conservative. The exchange of money for organs can never be ethical because that's already a level of coercion. This is one of those crimes where there's a need for kind of a global law enforcement unit who's able to understand how the traffickers work, how these surgeons without ethics and without morality work, and how the victims are recruited, and try to piece everything together to get to the real numbers and to try to obviously stop this illegal trade that's hurting so many.
God, that is so fucking insane. That just 12, at least, at the very minimum, 12,000 people a year are being fucking used for their organs. Their bodies are just an item on the shelf. What the fuck? They can just import and export at will. God damn, that is... I had no idea. I had no idea it was this prevalent. My god. Well, that was a bummer. That was a big fucking bummer. It's an upsetting video. Turns out human trafficking, drug trafficking, organ trafficking, not good. Not good. But I have to get going for the night. I'll be back on tomorrow and Sunday. But like I said, January it's gonna be like weekends only. But there's only like one weekend left. So I'll be live 20th, 21st, and then I'll be live again 26th, 27th, and 28th. But I will not be live the 29th and 30th. We're gonna start back up on the regular schedule again on the 1st. Or not the 1st, the 2nd. 2nd's a Friday. So we're gonna start back up with the regular schedule on the 2nd, which is a Friday. And then we'll do Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. And then we'll have Wednesday and Thursday off again. And it'll just be progressing like normal, per usual, as planned. So, just thanks for watching. Thanks for checking it out. And yeah, I'll be back on tomorrow. Bye!